That, mate.
Good morning, one and all. It is us, the three amigos. So let us kick off. We had two very interesting games. We saw Thomas Frank showing us a little bit of technical ecstasy, able to alternate his playbook. And then against the individuals from Bournemouth that we played on Saturday, he kind of left that in the car. Chris, how big was the catastrophe of it all?
We always expected that throughout the opening games there were going to be ups and downs, but this was a significant down. What we found was that I'm not going to say he got it completely wrong, but he did get it completely wrong. So we were up against a team more physical. They pressed us high, so they knew what we were going to do. At the back, Porro will be having repeated nightmares to this day about Anton Semenyo, as I've never seen a man destroy a fullback with ease. I'd never really seen too much of Semenyo, only the goals against Liverpool and the snippets here and there, but that man is an absolute monster. And what they did is they changed him. So he went from playing on the right wing onto the left wing so that he was facing down Porro, and him pressing so high and being so aggressive prevented Porro from pressing and going forward and the attacking output. Then to the side of him, we hear how good Romero is supposed to be, but the bloke's a liability, in my opinion. Just because he's the captain doesn't give him a free pass. Behind him, Vicario. I read these reports, he was one of our man of the match. He saved us from X, Y, and Z. But we were doing this really annoying thing of when he goes to take the goal kick, he had Van der Ven and Romero stood either side of him, and it went sideways, back to him. But he is not good enough to play out from the back. So my early observation is, why didn't Thomas change Jed Spence from the left side to the right side and put a doggy on early doors so that you had a physical, athletic left back, and then you had Spence, who could probably have given Semenyo a better game because Porro was getting abused. In front of them, we got it totally wrong. When we're going away to the likes of Man City, Chelsea, Man United, the Bentancur, the Polinia, and the Sarr three works. But at home to Bournemouth, who on paper we would have fancied our chances of beating, we had no creative outlet. We had Bentancur and Polinia at times almost marking each other. They were falling over each other. They were too close. Yep. And yes, I put the praise on Polinia. He is really good as a shithouse and breaking up the play, but he can't release the ball. He's not a creative and offensive player. So we had nothing in those three. And then out to the right, Kudus tried his best. He was probably one of our better players, but around him, he had nothing. The players looked afraid. Nobody wanted the ball. No one wanted to take it forward. And then to the left, we've been critical time and time again, but fuck me, Brennan Johnson was an absolute joke. We might as well have played with 10 men. There was a point during the first half, probably about the
horrible. It was absolutely horrible.
38th, 39th minute. He got the ball and you thought, drop your shoulder, beat your man and try and play it in against the goalkeeper from the angle. He tried to play it out wide and the bloke found himself offside. So moving forward, I think the Richarlison renaissance is probably over after 2 games, as he was fucking terrible. He couldn't hold the ball up. He made it easy for the Bournemouth centre-backs. And then we brought on substitutes. But how do you expect to change or influence a game when the substitutes you bring on are Odegaard, Tell, and Bergvall? Bergvall is young. He gets a free pass because there is a quality player in there. But Tell and Odegaard, they're championship players at best. How can you expect to retrieve a game when you're bringing on junk? So in large, we were lucky it wasn't 3 or 4. It could have easily been. It didn't work. We were crap. There were not a single positive to take away from it. But I think that Thomas Frank has really got to learn something from that. And it's go on.
Can I just throw a few things in to support your points you've made there? Pedro Porro, hectic, didn't even describe his day. But a pathetic, woefully pathetic, 55% passing accuracy. I mean, what did he get right? I mean, lucky he had his shirt on round the right way. And Bentancur was actually, in another lifetime, could have been man of the match if he'd managed to keep it going in the second half. But Paulinho hooked in the 54th minute, well deserved it. And like far too many Spurs players, wasn't anywhere near at the races, totally underperformed. And this big tough sweeper couldn't pass a long ball to save his life. And his dribbling was imperfect, and he lost possession 8 times. There was no substance to Spurs, and superstar that was Kudus really struggled to shine. One key pass, and you left up with a woeful expected goal ratio of 0.17. I mean, in the words of Elon Musk, let that sink in. And yeah, Richarlison, absolutely shocking. Absolutely shocking. Johnson, unremarkable. Nobody stood out. And for me, I mean, I keep on saying to people, I don't think football is a particularly complicated game. But just look at the Manchester City game. The reason we came back from nowhere, and the reason that we made such good work in the second half, particularly in the end of the first half, is because we were winning challenges, winning duels in the middle of the park, and we were pressing and winning the second ball all over the park. And against this lot, I'm just going to say it. I'm just going to say it because I think we can get bogged down in the sort of mathematics and the mechanics of the individual performances. But this bloody football team has been throwing games before international breaks for years. I mean, there's some discrepancy between certain sources saying, "Oh, it's so and so games," but you're talking the wrong end of a decade, between 5 and 10 years. I mean, when it's that bad, who gives a if it's 6 years or 3? But these guys have got their heads in their suitcases. That's the reality.
Two further things before Cat Flap comes in, as we're desperate to hear from him. That was arguably the worst game I've ever seen from Brennan Johnson. If he's not there tapping one in, or if he's not there in the box, he offers absolutely nothing. And this is a player who's 24, 25 years of age. So you'd say if he hasn't got it now, there's no likelihood of him getting it. And what really concerns me is that it's now been reported that Solanke's possibly out for up to 3 months.
Solanke's going for surgery.
Yeah, any club who's prepared to gamble on its future with Richarlison as your centre forward option and every single youngster out on loan, you're playing Russian roulette with 6 live rounds in the barrel, aren't you?
Well, what you're really doing is you're saying, "Oh, I know. Here's a good game. Come on, boys and girls. Let's pretend to be Everton." Who in their right mind thinks that is a good game, boys and girls? Everton, bloody Everton. Oh, yeah, he's mustard. We don't want to lose him. He's amazing. Oh, he's Alad, man. Arseholes. Don't know what they're talking about. Total waste of space. Over to you, Tony. How did you get on this weekend? You made your way out of the cupboard. That's great news.
How do I follow up on that, chaps? Honestly, just a good night and keep it Tottenham. I think so is probably the phrase there. But no, I looked at it when I was watching the game. I was, yes, everything you said is absolutely spot on. But I also had to sit there and admire Bournemouth. They were just superb in every aspect of what they did. And we talk often about our recruiting strategies or lack thereof recruiting strategies and buying the right players and what have you. I mean, they've gone and lost Kirkes, and yet they got that guy Truffaut back in instead, and he was excellent all game, absolutely brilliant, absolutely raided down the left. And you look at the team as a whole from Bournemouth's perspective, there isn't a name in there anybody would be able to pick off just like that, and yet they absolutely battered us. As for anybody coming out of that game with any sort of credit at all, no. That should have been 2 or 3-0 to Bournemouth. Sure. Oh, well, I think that would have been doing him a disservice. Frankly, I think it could have been 5 or 6. It really could have been. It was that embarrassing at one stage. I mean, David Brooks, who was a young guy, he just absolutely battered us in the midfield and going forward. He found the pockets of spaces he was finding was just incredible.
I liked the lad alongside him, Scott, the Tottenham family.
Scott,
they got from City. He looked so composed. And then alongside him, they had that Marcus Taverner. But what they were was really aggressive. And it looked like men against boys. We were like, we don't know what to do here.
Well, they were winning most of the duels in the middle of the park. And their press was impressive. And they, as a result, they won most of the second balls. I mean, football is not that complicated, but they did it really well.
But they had an extra man in midfield, though, didn't they? That was the thing. They always had an extra man because we were playing 4-3-3. They played 4-2-3-1, and but it was fluid as well. So they always had wherever they went, they always had an extra man. Whereas we were very rigid and didn't adapt, and because of that, and this is where obviously Frank will learn from this, and he's still, I'm not getting too. Yes, the manner of defeat is disappointing, but I'm not getting too over exaggerated. Oh, it's a disaster. Blah. Look, shit's going to happen. This is going to be all part of the process. The first two games, at least we saw the signs of some decent football. Yeah, we got well and truly beaten on this one, but as long as we respond against West Ham and then try and get right the ship and what have you, I don't see it being too big a deal. It's just going to be one of those things. But we've got to learn from it, and also this recruitment thing we've just got to be able to recruit better. Xavi Simons would be better, definitely, than what we've got right now. Would it have been any better? Would he have affected that game? I don't know, because I think tactically we were outsmarted completely.
I know I'm banging on about this, and this is what I do. I get a thing and I go on and on and on. But for fuck's sake, this has been going on for so long. This isn't like, oh yeah, well, we've got to learn the lessons of the. You need to scream at these people, put them against a wall and scream at them. I mean, they were great against Burnley. I don't care who Burnley are. I don't care if they're Real Madrid, Burnley, Ipswich. I really don't care. They really put a shift in against Burnley. They really put a shift in against Manchester City, to the point whereby we weren't particularly entertaining to watch for certainly the entirety of the first half. And then, it's an international break coming. So what should we do? Oh, I know. Let's wonder about what we're going to wear when we get off the plane at the airport.
We shouldn't be surprised.
This needs to stop. I mean, it's so predictable.
I would, in my personal opinion, I'd rather see Danso playing at the back of Romero, because I think
Romero does my head in now.
Danso, in my opinion, is a wholehearted defender. He's the master of the long throw, and he never lets us down. But the more times I see Romero, I think the hype isn't justified. I think he is so blasé with the ball. He thinks he's Franz Beckenbauer, yet he's got the ability of Gary Doherty, and it's just dreadful.
Well, Chris, last night I was saying on the chat last night, watching the Aston Villa Palace game.
Oh, that Mark
Guehi. He's just 30. We can get him for 30. If we were to just be serious about our business, we could. Okay, he's got a year left on his contract, so it's not going to be stupid money. But just go in there, buy the fucking player, get Romero out on the next plane. There's a world of difference between the two, and the goal that the way he scored was just outstanding. But in every facet of the game yesterday, and that's not just yesterday. We know that he's been playing well all the way through, and considering that all this transfer speculation, what a game he had. He was absolutely the man of the match by a long, long way, and we could get him for 35, 40 million. I mean, that's not a lot of dosh for somebody like him.
Do you know what? I would love to have a centre forward like Mateta at the club. Mateta is better than anything we've got by a country mile.
100%.
I think that I'm not going to keep going on about it, because I've said it 3 times, so I'll say it a 4th. They need to be screamed at, because every time there's an international break, they don't turn up. It doesn't matter who we play, they don't turn up. They've got something else on their minds. And we've got this kindergarten thing, this thing where these children are nannied. It's like a fucking Montessori. I mean, Christian Romero made captain. What's he doing to demonstrate these captain material? I just don't see it. And I
think he gets it through the fact he's a World Cup winner and a World Cup winner only. They went round the squad, realised nobody else had any credentials, so he won it via default.
Yeah, it's just depressing. But I would have hooked Porro. I would have taken him off. I mean, you can tell by a player his passing accuracy is that low. Just for anybody joining us late, I know some of you might say, a fullback, a defender at Tottenham Hotspur Football Club needs to be 90% plus. The closer to 100% you get for a fullback, the better the things are for everybody concerned. That's a truth, a reality. It's not up for debate. So the idea that you have a player like Porro who eventually gets hooked and manages for the entire time that he's on the park to only do 55%. So 55%, what's that? Well, it's very close to 50-50. Those are the odds that never change when you throw a coin in the air. Are you for real? You're throwing a fucking coin in the air and you're saying, oh, well, yeah, maybe his pass will go to a Spurs player. Maybe. Or maybe it'll go to a Bournemouth player. I'm sorry, but it really isn't good enough. And I'm not going to go on about the money. I'm not going to go. It's about self-bloody respect.
Yeah. You talk about, Chris, you're saying about some, who would you rather have? You talk about Richarlison or Evan Nielsen?
Evan Nielsen every day. Yeah,
absolutely.
That goal, how did our whole back four absolutely turn off? It was just a simple ball.
Yeah.
And even I've got a question, as that was in front of where I was sitting. I don't think the keeper's positioning for that was particularly good.
Well, I mean,
get me started.
Well, yeah, I mean, we know that as well. And again, you know, when you talk about keepers, you know, you got Martinez, who apparently is available, and Martinez against Vicario. Duh. That's a no-brainer. You know, in two moves, you could improve our team significantly. But we know that's never going to happen because that's just not the way we operate. We don't buy good. On the whole, we don't buy good players. We just buy players who. I sometimes I don't know the reason why we buy players. I mean, Simmons is a good player, and I think we buy
players.
There he is. Daniel's in the room.
Sustainability of the club. And you can imagine, can't you? It's very difficult, very complex. But I like to thank my wife for ripping out all of this shit and putting us behind schedule. Thank you.
What makes me laugh about Vicario is his arms are flapping around. His arms are flapping around. He's pointing at everybody. He's shouting at everybody, but he never takes any responsibility for himself.
Are you suggesting he's a narcissistic psychopath?
I'll let you come out with that definition.
I'd honestly, I'm not a violent man, but I'd knock him out. If I was playing on the same side as him and he was going, hey, ciao, bella, spaghetti vongole, I'd knock his head off him.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, I refer you to
about 12. Yeah. He doesn't fucking shave, and he's constantly giving advice to people.
I refer you to gentlemen to People's Exhibit A, Mr. Vicario against Mr. Bergvall.
And remind him that was at the instruction of Mr. Bridger, who will drive every piazza owner, every ice cream parlor into the sea.
Into the sea.
South Preservation Society.
I watched that yesterday, actually.
Yeah, classic.
In fact, it'd be quicker to give you a list of the films I didn't watch because it was all about the movies this weekend.
I was trying to compare my two favourite clowns, and I didn't know whether Vicario was number one or John Wayne Gacy is number one. I'll leave it to you.
Here we go. Well, that's quite late into the
1845. I've got to say, chaps, we may as well be at Sunday school here. May as well be at Sunday school.
That's because you spent 15 minutes ranting off about how they fuck up before they go on international leave, mate.
It's true. I'm sick of it. I mean, you talk about the colour of the wallpaper. It doesn't matter. The problem is that these dickheads are not focused. I mean, I think Thomas Frank has been extraordinarily tested this week. I mean, he came out before the game and said that Yves Bissouma wouldn't be joining us because he'd suffered an injury. That he is on another disciplinary charge. I guarantee you he's on another disciplinary charge. Anybody who couldn't pass a bloody medical to go to Turkey.
Any self-respecting football club would have said he was 28 at the weekend. He's got 12 months left of his contract. He's not going to feature for us. Let's come to a mutual agreement. Just terminate the contract. As neither parties. There's no longitude in this relationship.
And who is going to snap him up? I mean, I have to say, all the people out there on social media. I mean, we even got one of these miscreants turn up on our beloved YouTube channel, which again, we're only 34% of you, which is great. It's a massive improvement. The numbers come down. Over a third of you are watching us every bloody show we put out, but you haven't subscribed. Just subscribe. Doesn't cost anything. No obligation. It's free. But Basuma is an app. Who's going to snap him up? Because one of these clowns came on the channel and said, we needed Basuma yesterday. What? We needed vibes.
We also, what's the bets? We finished this window. Basuma, Gill, and Manor Solomon are still part of still at Tottenham Hotspur Football Club.
I'd put money on it. I'd absolutely put money on it. I mean, if anything, I think we now know what the politics are at Spurs, because I'm not interested in discussing football with people when it comes, because we all know in this world there is an illness, there is a malaise where people encounter Jewish people and the part of their brain doesn't work properly. All right, and they start shouting genocide. It's like shouting Holocaust at Jews. This is the situation we're in with Jewish people in the 21st century. Right now, we're shouting Holocaust at Jews because we're making out that they're the bad guys. But we saw where the politics were against Bournemouth. Manor Solomon on the left there would have been by far the superior choice to bring on. I don't want to hear about his injuries. I don't want to hear about his mum getting a haircut. I don't want to hear about next door neighbour's dog taking a shit on your lawn. He's a decent footballer. He should have been played. He's not going to play for Spurs ever, 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 ever again. And they won't shout at the players and tell them to get their fucking acts together, despite the fact there's an international break coming.
What made me laugh was the commute down from Seven Sisters, witnessing the 10 Change for Tottenham devotees that turned out. And
I think they've wrapped it up, Chris. Because I was going to ask you. I mean, you must know you're close to the epicenter of that organisation these days.
When I queried with somebody why the turnout was so low, obviously I don't join those protests. They said, we signed Xavi Simons yesterday. And I was thinking, well, one swallow doesn't make a summer, does it? So
it does make for a good Saturday night out, in my view. But I can't go down that right line at the moment. No, I mean, totally. Yeah, they actually put a tweet or a post out on X after the game saying that we were now backing the team, which sound to me like a vehicle reversing noise. I mean, they were telling people, they were chastising fans. This is how ineffectual they are. They were chastising fans for sending rude emails to customer services at thfc.com. Who gives a damn?
After publicly sharing the email address for said customer services.
Yeah, I mean, first of all, that's in the public domain. It might be difficult to find, but it's in the public domain. It's not a secret like.
Shall I tell you the easy way? www.rocketreach.co.uk or .com.
Exactly. It's not in the Mr. Marinakis confidentiality breach triangle. I mean, and somebody saying, Levy, you suck, you bald git or whatever. So what? Let the police deal with it. They're not doing anything apart from, arresting people for being Jewish in a built-up area. Let the police deal with the malicious communications. But these guys, they have nothing to offer. They have nothing to offer. Total waste of time. They should be disbanded.
When they said, we're backing the team, my daughters, I'm sure you've probably come across this with other similar sort of that generation. They have a very dismissive phrase for when somebody said, not even that, mate. It's cool story, bro.
Yeah, cool story, bro. Yeah.
It's just like, and explain to me with any sort of words, with anything, any meaningful words with syllables, why I care.
Nice move, boomer.
Yeah, exactly.
No, I'm honestly. I mean, I'm just sick of all of these people. They're absolute time wasters. Well, lightweights, costermongers, thieves.
Another thing that we can't forget, that fat Australian twat pissing up £120 million in Richarlison and Solanke. How do you justify that?
Johnson, yeah. Well, Johnson as well, when you think about it.
Had another 45 million. Let's say about 165 million. They were collectively What's the what is shit?
Collective
times
noun.
two? Yeah, what's the collective noun for repeated piles of shit? Shits.
Schmohawks.
Yeah.
A levy.
How can any serious club?
It's the Danny Boy trifecta.
Yeah.
Spend the rest of your life banging your head against the wall in a mental home, telling people
Should we
you're
just get?
Napoleon.
I'll drop another one in there. Should we call it a fritzel?
It's a fritzel. It's a fritzel. No, we just call it fritzel.
Fritzel.
And we were told in the summer that being a shit house and refusing to train didn't get you anywhere. And lo and behold, Alexander Isak on the verge of signing for Liverpool for 125 million after the club decided it's not in their interest to have a asset who was not prepared to represent the club anymore.
Yeah, I mean, I hope he does great stuff. I mean, he's joining a real football team there.
Yeah.
So he clearly must have had some exchange with Arne Slot, who would have needed to, I would imagine, be reassured that he was going to not act like a dickhead when he got to Merseyside, which in its way, of course, would mark him out enormously at that part of the United Kingdom. But look, I just don't know. I don't know. I mean, today's the last day of the window. This is the special. So, the away day, gay day special, live from our bedrooms. And I mean, it would be great if we did something to counteract the fact that we're light in the number 10 role. Yes, this Xavi Simmons is going to be fantastic. I totally get it. I think he's going to be a great asset, super bit of business. But of course, I would say it because it happens to be true. This is the result. This signing is the result of two other players who wouldn't have been as good, making us look like nitwits in the transfer market.
Can you retract that previous statement, as I don't think me and many others are ready to enter your bedroom?
Well, okay, this is a bedroom, but it's actually my office. There's no bed in this room. So if you feel sexually awkward by the fact that
whips and chains and handcuffs to
we know what Tony's up to. We know that bookshelf behind him revolves, and I can't even begin to describe what the scene is there.
You're just jealous because you didn't think of it first.
That's true.
Yeah, I think if we go to H's bedroom, there's going to be duct tape and rolls of plastic sheetings all over the walls and the floors.
I can neither confirm nor deny.
And a book outlining the definition of Stockholm syndrome.
So yeah. Well, you look at Liverpool,
many of which are autographed. Sorry, looking at Liverpool,
look at their transfer window. I mean, this is a team this is a club that's just basically gone balls out. We're now going for greatness. We are absolutely going for greatness.
We're going to win the Premiership for the unforeseen future.
We are a fan base. We are a fan base of wannabe bookkeepers.
Yeah,
I mean,
I'd like you to in your inevitable style there. So just quote what Danny Boy said that he would like to win, so that we can refer back to Liverpool.
But obviously, I would like to win the Premier League and the Champions League because winning in Europe was wonderful, but it wasn't enough.
I'd like to spend the night. I'd like to spend the night with Mayor Jammer, but it's never going to happen.
Yeah. But
who knows? Look at You're a very attractive man, and she's after all only a woman.
And obviously, we as has been well established in fact, Chris's love juice, can make somebody pregnant from 35 yards. So.
Yes, Chris's love juice available on all good ice cream vans. Don't forget to ask for it by name, kids.
Yeah, just don't ask for it as a topping.
Chris, I have to say, I mean, just to keep the balance of the ebb and the flow, the yin and the yang going. There were a number of people on the last Three Amigos who were taken to it. They were transported to another place, a place that made them feel happy, fuzzy, and warm. Thinking of you in a Stetson, Cuban heels, wearing a suicide vest, making access to Daniel Levy's boardroom. So just thought I'd share that with you in case you missed that. There was some real love in the room.
We could live stream it when it happens.
They're feeling the macho vibes at home.
There surely is. There's surely there. That must be something somebody in Chat GPT could possibly do for us and get an image up for us. That would be brilliant.
He was an awfully big Marine.
Whoa, camouflage.
Oh, camouflage. So change for Tottenham. Is this an RIP, do you think, or do you think they're going to be so desperate for attention they're going to attempt to mount a comeback? Because if they come back, it's going to be the most ambitious comeback since I don't know, beer bellies, flares, and moustaches.
Can we just say this? Why don't they just fuck off?
Yeah,
because they're about as they're even less useful than a used sanitary towel.
They're about as useful as Brennan Johnson playing on the wing.
Now, Chris, come on. There are certain levels of insult that you can rise to. That's beyond the pale, fella. That's beyond the pale.
Yeah, that's beyond the pale.
Beyond the pale. Beyond the pale.
It's that fucking thing he does with his eyes, where he sort of goes, as if to sort of, and you understand what I'm saying? Yes, you're talking shit, mate, because your lips are moving. We do understand what you're saying. Thank you so much.
Oh, breaking news. We are trying to get Randall Kolo Moani because his deal with Juventus is now off.
So we're getting everybody else's knockoffs, are we now? Is that what it's come to? We're getting everybody else's knockoffs.
I'm going. It's transfer day window, and I tell you what I'm doing, because it's a washout. But I should be heading towards a public house with my laptop. I'm tempted not to take the laptop, but I think I'm going to take the laptop for the lols, because I'm just struggling to see how anything dynamic is going to happen in the last day.
I suppose we don't really need to worry about signing a centre forward. After all, we have got Dane Scarlett at the club, haven't we?
Plays the sound of what was that thing we used to do? The sound of silence. But yeah, absolute. I mean, look, it's not a disaster. The Xabi Simons thing is exciting. There's no two ways about it. We've had a look at the player radars on that guy, and he outstrips Eze, he outstrips Paz, he outstrips Polino, I don't know, the guy from Manchester City, Savinho, sorry. He's a class act. But this business of, you look at who we've signed and where we're short. And I got to tell you, Saturday's game was a great reminder to anybody who didn't want to remember that we finished 17th.
You look at the total lack of depth and quality in the squad. It's not the first 11. It's when we can get the first 11 out, we've got a team that can hold its own. But it's when the options from the bench, they're not there. You might as well.
No, the bench is disgusting. The bench is leftover sandwiches. It's horrible. There are no game changers on the bench. But you see, this is what you want in an ideal scenario. You want to be the likes of, say, City or Chelsea, where you've got kind of like for like or alternatives. Don't call them reserves, call them alternatives. So when Kulusevski's feeling a bit pooped, you can bring on somebody who's as good as him.
This
and
is
it's not that you're looking at the likes of bloody Tell. I mean, you summed it up there earlier. Tell and Odegaard are championship at the very best.
This is our bench. This was our bench the other day. Bergvall, Danso, Davies, Gray, Kinski, Odegaard, Sullivan, Tell, Udogie.
So the only ones I give a free pass there are Bergvall and potentially Gray. Danso, who I said I like from the outset.
Yeah.
And I would still rather see Kinski in goal and given 10, 15 games to prove
that's half the bench. You're automatically discounted by saying forget them. They're just not worth even being there.
The rest is just a pile of smoking shit, isn't it?
and the rest of them as well. And let's face it, with the likes of Bergvall and Danso, you know, being honest, that they're not the sort of players that Liverpool or Chelsea or Arsenal or City would buy.
And so he's a
let's be
wholehearted,
honest.
committed, no nonsense player. He's not going to walk into your Liverpool starting 11 or your Man City.
No, he's a good value player. He's a good value player, which is probably Levy's key motto. And this is what about the value? You've got to have the value. But that's all it is. He's, you know, and like you say, he's committed, he's wholehearted, and he probably will do a good job for us. But you know, he's fighting fire. He's sort of top player, but you can see he's constantly fighting fires for everybody else in the back.
So while we've been talking in the 35 minutes that the time has flown past, Sunderland have agreed to sign Lashrel Gatuda, a centre-back from Leipzig, and Brian Bobbery, a centre-forward from Ajax, for potentially up to a combined fee of 45 million for the two of them. You think at the amount of money they've already invested, they've just made us look shameful, their recruitment campaign this summer, compared to a team who's on paper supposed to be the 8th biggest club in world football. It's just shameful and pitiful.
Well, you look at recruitment, though, Chris. You think about recruitment. Just going back to the game on Saturday. Look at the Bournemouth squad.
Yeah,
that is a classic example of buying the players who fit the system, who are good value. I mean, they seem to constantly unearth gems.
Yeah.
You know, a la Brighton. They just keep doing it. And what do we keep doing? We keep buying turds.
Yeah, I mean, look, we've got rid of our what would be the phrase? Reupholstered our medical department, and that doesn't appear to have made a jot of difference. And we've hired and fired and put on gardening leave people involved in our playing recruitment. Doesn't appear to have made a jot of difference. And like I say, something's rotten in Denmark, and I think we know what it is. I mean, keep on going back and back and back and round and round and round and back to it again. But something needs to be done that's going to make a real meaningful difference. And I don't know what it is, because what can you do to get shot of these people? But the place from a footballing perspective has been basically left to chance. And it's depressing. I mean, sorry, folks. I wish I could be, I wish I had special needs and could be stood here shouting like the Spectrum Brothers or that other oaf, Chris Cowlin, and telling you, we are hearing that the Mirror are reporting. But what's the point? Because our audience isn't retarded.
Yeah.
Huh? Yeah.
Copy paste read. I'm not a violent man, but I'd love to throat punch that bloke.
Yeah. Well, listen. This is why. And this is why in a decent Western society and in good communities in other parts of the world, people with severe difficulties in this respect are looked after. Don't give them bloody microphones and endless tape, which is what's happened. But I don't know. But the lunacy has to stop somewhere, because it's driving me out of my bloody mind, to be blunt. But yeah, last day of the transfer window, and I remember the golden days. Now, I'm only talking about a few years ago, and this would be an absolutely big payday for me, because we would be publishing stories every 10, 15 minutes. I've put out one this morning, which was about Solanke's injury, and the rest of the stuff I'm seeing flying around, it's like watching, I don't know, turds in a spaceship. It's nothing of any value or consequence at all.
One of my mates, who's in his 70s, lives up in Glasgow, reached out to me yesterday after he'd come back from the Old Firm derby. And he said, I don't get the hype over Mikey Moore. He said, in the brief cameos we've seen so far at Rangers, he's been absolutely rubbish.
But then again, look, but that's what I say to that in response is, excuse me, he's playing for Rangers and you've got Russell Martin as the manager. You couldn't get any more fucking disastrous than that. I
mean, I hate to drag the fat bloated corpse of the overcooked meat eating moron back into the arena again, but Scottish football. I know Dave Mackay, I know Steve Archibald and blah blah blah. Yeah, wonderful, but that was a million fucking years ago. And one of those players we watched in black and white. Scottish football is universally unilaterally dreadful. So whether Mikey Moore is brilliant up there or he's walking on water, guess what? I don't care.
Yeah.
I genuinely don't care.
And there's this ridiculous delusion, isn't there, in Scotland that, oh, if Rangers and Celtic came into the Premiership, they'd do really well. They'd be
They'd be top of the arrests league. They'd leave more fans behind in London police stations than any other fan. Yeah, they'd really, But if you want to get AIDS, bad teeth, or whatever, or addicted to heroin, they're top of the pops. But let's not talk about them in terms of football. It just isn't. It's like saying, well, my dog loves me throwing the ball for it in the garden. It may well do, but we're talking about football. And Scotland is not a place to have a topic of conversation about football.
You had to go there. You had to go there, didn't you?
AIDS, crime, more AIDS, bad teeth, heart disease.
What does make me laugh is that seemingly we're told none of our young players are good enough. They need to all go out on loan. Yet you've got 17-year-old Rio Ngoma, who's scored the winner for Liverpool against who was it when he came off the bench when they won 3-2?
Newcastle.
Yeah, and he was featuring yesterday. So
Max Dalman for Arsenal. Max Dalman for Arsenal. 15 years.
Yeah. So it's
the old story, isn't it, mate? It's the old story. If they're good enough, they're old enough.
Is it the case that ours are just not good enough? You look at all those out on loan, and hardly any of them are ripping up trees. Like Donnelly and Phillips didn't start or get off the bench for Stoke. You've got the South Korean lad who's not doing anything. The only one to have done anything was Will Lancashire, who scored at the weekend for Oxford. But it's all very underwhelming from all those players that are going to come back to us next summer.
I don't think some of you are fully appreciating the amortisation of footballers, and in particular to the youth prospects, where we've been very successful at amortising many of them.
I just, if you think we've been successful with youth players in terms of amortisation or cash realisation, I give you again People's Exhibit Chelsea, my lad.
Yeah.
Who made it into an art form.
Yeah, I mean Chelsea. I mean, I was going to say this earlier. I see. I have various chat groups. I'm subscribed to various bits and pieces because I like to see what other people are doing. As a mate of mine got a Chelsea blog, Cy Phillips Talks Chelsea, and it's utterly depressing at this time of year because it goes bing on the old Substack, and they're having chats off of the Substack, and we're looking for another striker. Blah 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 blah. I don't care about the money. I don't care about the rape and molestation charges. I want to hear. I don't care about the sports washing. I want to hear about them trying to win. If I'm a Chelsea fan, and they are giving their fans everything they can possibly do to get that message is we are in business. And our message is we're not in the football business. We're in the entertainment's business and sustainability and all this bollocks, which nobody cares about. But we have a fan base of bookkeepers who are waiting for the sky to fall on their heads. I mean, I'm not suggesting we do anything that is suicidal or anything that is totally counterproductive. But I think we need to take the gloves off a little, and that goes right down into the way that we speak to the club. The reason change for Tottenham hasn't worked, okay, and I'm not dancing on their grave here, is because they were too nice. I'm not suggesting you have to have Tourette's and throw house bricks through windows, but you don't need to hide. It's like the press. Oh, hello, how are you? Got any nice books to read on the plane?
That's why you need to support Chris B's one-man gang when I enter the boardroom with steps and.
I mean, just exactly. Let's hear the clump of a Cuban heel. Let's smell those chaps, and let's butter some parsnips.
I'm prepared to martyr myself just for you, H.
Yeah, pull the string. Pull the cord, Mark, do not pull, and let those party poppers go Papadopoulos.
I think it was going to be remote via a mobile phone, and you could be the one who rings in the final code, just like on all the good movies.
Dun, 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 dun. Yes, we're not lowering you from anything.
In Birmingham.
We got to get him a good final line as well, just before he blows up. You know, that last quip, as it sort of thing. You know, like, I love the smell of C4 in the morning or something like that.
I love it. I love it when G-Plan furniture comes together. But yeah, I think this is our final best hope is sending Chris in.
Yeah, I think Chris's last line will be Richarlison.
Chewing gum and kicking ass, and I'm all out of gum.
Now you're talking, H. Now you're talking. One of the classics.
Do it properly or go home. That's what I say.
Mate. They Live. What a classic film. Absolutely classic, mate.
Chris B arrives at Lily White House, and he had to say, "If it bleeds, we can kill it."
And the first person to retweet about it will be Chris Cowling.
Get to the chopper.
Explosive!
I'll be back.
Get to the chopper now.
I need your horse and your boots. And a glass of man milk.
Oh, we've lost it now. We just degenerate. We've just gone down now. We've just gone away. We've gone away with the fairies now.
So remember, kids, take a big old half of crispy man juice before you take on Daniel Levy this winter.
Turns you into a sexual tyrannosaurus.
But yeah, I mean, it's tough. I mean, we've got literally however many hours it is until midnight, and our work is not done here. That's the reality. Just ask Change for Tottenham. They'll tell you how much work isn't done.
But they are claiming responsibility for sorting out the Middle East problem.
And there's only 70 hostages left in Gaza. Yeah. That's largely down to them, which is tremendous news.
I think they've stopped China invading Taiwan. And what else have they done?
They've got the Canadian Prime Minister wearing men's underwear again.
Yeah,
in public.
That's the accolade they should be proud of.
That's the accolade that they should have been seeking in the first instance.
Yeah.
But no, it's tough. It's tough. I mean, we're linked with players galore, but I'm not even going to go through them on here because what we don't do, and a number of people have been mentioning it again on this channel in the comments, saying thanks for not giving us an update on Eze every 30 bloody minutes. Thanks for not giving us an update on so-and-so every day, every half hour. Because the reality is we can put out as much or as little content as we want, but what's the point? What's the point? Our audience aren't stupid. So, Tony, what do you think might happen before the window slams shut, as Sky Sports will be recycling all afternoon?
Who the fuck knows? Honestly, I do.
There you go. That's the Vox Pops, folks, from the man on the street, the man on the omnibus.
Yeah, I miss the days of old Harry Redknapp in his car outside HOTSPUR way. You know, sitting in his car giving interviews to the wankerati.
Feverishly winking.
I preferred a big orange dildo being flapped against somebody's ear live on Sky Sports. The humour level.
With the greatest of respect, I think you'll find that dildo was in fact purple.
Right, okay.
It was the Raging Horn 5000 with oscillating head.
Okay.
Very popular model at the time.
Who was it with? Was it with that Gary Birtles or somebody outside?
Yeah, the guy who looks like, well, he's got the weathered appearance of a man who drinks too much scotch, supermarket scotch, while sitting on a bench, having told his wife he's going to work.
Oh, I thought you were going to say whilst fishing at the North Sea.
Yeah. Exactly. He looks like he's been on an oil rig. His face. He looks weathered.
He has that look. Do you remember that program? It'll Be All Right on the Night, when they used to show those clips and what have you with Dennis Norden. Do you remember that one with the newscaster who, after he'd done his stint, he then sort of carried on after they'd stopped recording. He said, you know, this is da news at 10. Outside, cold.
That's
wet.
it.
tired, pissed off,
heavily overdrawn.
John, yeah,
His mortgage about to be foreclosed.
3 kids. Wife hates me.
Suspects his brother's shagging his wife.
Yeah, he had to look at that sort of person as he was doing that. Really,
absolute tough paper round.
Yeah. I'm just looking at the stats for this Randall Kolo Muani in Juve. He played 16 games for Juve, 8 goals, 1 assist.
But if he wanted to be at Tottenham, why wasn't he with us months ago when we were sniffing around him?
That's because we're pouncing in on the corpse of a transfer deal, aren't we? That's what we're doing.
Necrophilias are us.
we are the Necro FC.
Yeah, we have become the Dexter, to quote serial killers, fictional ones, of the transfer window, aren't we?
We would have Jimmy Savile instead of expressions oozing. Just think of that.
Now then.
I'd take that trade.
Now then, pot pickers.
Fam.
It has come to the stage where we're digging up the patios to try and find transfer window suspects.
There's more chance of Lord Lucan riding into the room on Shergar than there is of us signing anybody decent today.
Lord Lucan's nanny had a better time of it in her last 8 hours on this earth than we're going to have as Tottenham fans.
When the window shuts at 7 o'clock, there's more chance of Madeline McCann having been found than us getting 3 signings.
Oh, yeah. Oh, no. Time out, Christopher. Time out.
Madeline McCann to take over Donna Marie Collins' position. Latest odds with odds checker coming through now on the video printer.
Perhaps they're one and the same. I mean, have you ever seen them in the same room?
Yeah, exactly.
Tune in next week when you'll hear Nurse Piggy say,
Donna Marie Collins in Spain.
I've got on speed dial.
If there's any serial killers or wanted people or things that you want mentioned on the show, just reach out to us.
Yes. Put it in the chat. We'll find some way. Don't you worry about that.
We need to actually clarify the acronyms aligned by a previous viewer. I think you must be a cat flap.
Oh, Filthy Rich Cat Flap, I think, was one of the most underrated series of all times because it did. Oh, it was an eloquent bridge between the young ones and what came afterwards.
Yeah, definitely. Well, I posited I was filthy. I posited I was filthy. That you were. Chris B was rich because he's phenomenally rich. We know he is with all these steak dildos and God knows what.
I don't think you watched it, did you? Did you actually?
I'm too young. Yeah. I was born in 1978. Not the 50s,
well, because Ralph's filthy. He was the sort of pseudo, maybe Jewish, but certainly dodgy sort of Soho agent, which I thought would have been me.
Yeah, that's
and then enough. You had Richie Rich, who was Richie Rich, and then Eddie, who was the minder, who would occasionally kill a milkman.
No idea what you're talking about. If it wasn't the young ones on bottom, it's lost on me.
Yeah. Be a lube. Be a lube.
In between the young ones and bottom.
Yeah, I remember that.
And I think it was probably as strong as bottom.
Was it who was it Nigel playing? Which one was he playing? Was it
Filthy?
Filthy. That's it, Filthy. That's it. Yeah, because his phrase was, "Oh, go on, be a lube."
Well, no. His phrase was a vodka for a dying man. He was actually very Paul Raymond from Raymond's Review Bar. He was very much
yeah.
Just take the seats at the front. These are reserved for you, my love.
Actually, I've just Googled Edward Elizabeth Hitler, and Edward Elizabeth Hitler, aka Eddie, is a free-spirited, a menacing alcoholic. That's why you remind me so much of him.
That's his spirit animal.
He wears glasses akin to those of Eric Morecambe. It gets better.
Say again.
He wears glasses akin to those of Eric Morecambe.
Thank you.
Yeah.
He's one of my favourite ones was when in Bottom when he opens he says I must have something to drink, Eddie, and he goes, "Welcome to Eddie's bar," and he opens up the 2 cupboards underneath the seat and he goes, welcome to the Club Tropicana. And he's got like vim and bleach and about half an inch of brandy or whatever it is.
Oh,
And
those were the days.
He goes to I can't remember what happens to Rich, but he cuts his finger or something. So he goes off to Boots, and he's gone for 8 hours. And he comes back wankered, and he goes, "What happened to you?" And he goes, "It was the borough planner's fault. They put the lamb and flag next door to Boots the chemist."
I don't think you can beat the episode with it. Can you remember the gas man?
Yes. The gas man cometh.
Yeah.
Right. Any more?
Well,
It's the international week, so it's
it's
all
an
riding
international
on.
break. So how many
yeah.
people? How many players are going to come back injured? That'll be the next thing.
And I'm looking
Hopefully
forward
all
to
of
the-
them. Hopefully
I'm
all of them.
looking forward to the impromptu videos that you go do throughout the day from a central Birmingham pub where you get more pissed and silly by the day. Hour.
Well, actually, I tell you, I didn't, because I had a prior engagement, and bear in mind, I'm in charge.
What was her name?
I can't reveal names unless
Or
they've
are
been
you-
changed. Bernard
or are
was
you-
her name, in fact.
or
No
are you-
local
What was
Bernard.
her name? What was her name, and how much did she cost?
Or are you giving
hourly
Manor?
rate.
Are you giving Manor
Ecumenically
a
priced.
farewell kiss and cuddle before he departs the club?
Sorry, my speakers aren't working, Tony. Can you hear anything there?
Lubing yourself up one last time.
Lubing my way back to you, babe. No, so I didn't do a watch along a ding dong. I'm going to do one for the next game. But that was phenomenal because I didn't drink that much. But the bad news was there's a bloke I've met locally who is tremendously good fun, and I ended up drinking Japanese scotch. At
Very
his
nice. Very good.
night
Yeah.
Yeah, very good. Yeah, as long as you're only having a little bit and going, "Oh, very good," and that's it, opposed to fill her up again, Sam. So I think I had a bit of a head start before the ball was kicked. But no, I enjoyed that, and there was a good crowd on the thing as well. I have to say, I think the record amount of people on at one time were 1,000, which isn't huge, but it's better than nowhere. But the important thing was I enjoyed it, which means it will get to happen again.
You've officially got
and
your
I
own
missed your comment, of course, Chris. I'm terribly sorry.
bastard.
Yeah, the cut and thrust, you see, mate. The cut and fucking thrust of it all, you know.
So
Right.
can we? What's the chance? Well, let's have a bet now. What's the bets of A, bringing in 2 to 3 players, and B, finishing the window with Gill, Solomon, and Basuma still at the club?
I think we would perhaps get rid of Gill. I think we'd get rid of nobody else. And I'd be amazed if we bring in anybody of note, anybody that's meaningful.
Breaking news for Fabrizio.
Go on.
We're in talks to sign a South Korean centre forward, Fukin No One.
And on that bombshell, return to your homes. Nothing to see here. Return to your homes immediately.
We're not in 1942 or whenever it was.
Mr. Chumley Warner. Mr. Chumley Warner.
Chumley Warner. Listen, folks, you've been incredibly indulgent. You could have wrapped this up in the first 5 minutes, but hopefully you stayed for the larks galore. That's it for now. Good luck. Keep it on them. And he presses the off button.